Welcome back to Cheaper Pop Culture, the Chuck Norris of this channel. And by that I mean, it's on the internet. I really got nothing else for this analogy, so go? Chuck Norris sued NBC over the illegal use of the names of his left and right leg when they made the show Law and Order. Nearly 30 years ago at Survivor Series, and Walker Texas Ranger himself, Chuck Norris, showed up to keep law and order during the match between Yokozuna and The Undertaker, who are finally squaring off on screen again for the first time since their last match at the Royal Rumble earlier in the year, which saw all of the heels come down and beat up the Phenom so bad that he turned into a wall of TVs, almost like a display at The Wiz. Only, nobody beats The Wiz. Now, since last time things got so out of hand, a special enforcer was required in order to keep things from descending into chaos, and that man was Chuck Norris. But as intimidating as that is, there were still some crazies out there who were willing to try their hand against Chuck and stuff. King Kong Bundy and Bam Bam Bigelow came down to distract this so-called enforcer, allowing for IRS to sneak into the ring. Great job there, Chuck! More like Chuck Norris. But that's not to say that everybody got past the Texas Ranger, as Chucky caught Jeff Jarrett with a massive sidekick, which Double J chose to sell with a handstand for some reason. Yeah, it's good to see that workers back in the day knew how to sell properly and take things seriously. Good job, Double J. Good job. Behind Chuck Norris's beard is not a face, there's another fist. Thanks to these Chuck Norris facts, a lot of people out there think that Norris the Cat has a mere Haku level of invincibility, but not true if you ask Damian Priest, who gave an interview where he stated that his father delivered some real punishment Martinez to the Chuckster. He said, "Something that I heard from not just him but other martial artists that were around in the era in the 70s, and it was before Chuck Norris was even a name. They had an exhibition fight that wasn't meant to have a winner, but they all said that if there was one by points or whatever, my father landed way more strikes and kind of outperformed, so he would have won the fight in that sense." The old man could do that, meanwhile you can barely manage to get booked well against a 50-year-old Edge? Some, if they're lucky, can take down 2 birds with only 1 stone. Chuck Norris, on the other hand, has taken down 3 birds with only half a stone. What's that you say? There's no such thing as half a stone? Yeah, that's what those 3 birds thought as well. On the January 25th, 1999 episode of Nitro, Chuck Norris found himself doing what a lot of other former WWF talents were doing at the time, appearing on WCW TV. And just like what was happening to a lot of recovering WWF people in World Championship Wrestling, Chuck was finding that he wasn't quite getting the same level of respect that he was getting while he was in the House of McMahon. Because during his brief cameo in the World Wrestling Federation, he was given a special role during a prominent match. But with Turner, he just kinda sat in the audience. And let's just remember, at this point, WCW Nitro was a 3-hour tour, giving them even more time to just ignore the woodchuck. And remember, he was sitting hard cam side. Worst of all, not only did they pay him no mind, but he also had to play second fiddle to Jean-Claude Van Damme. And that's not even the good Van Damme to be runner-up to in wrestling. But when we go back to look at this, we'll see that the Nunchuck probably sympathized a lot with Bret Hart, who was also not being treated to the best of his possible potential in 1999's WCW. Because even though the Hitman was heel at the time, and he won his match through some chicanery, the Chuckster was clapping, because he knew what was up. At least he did for a while, because he and the rest of the celebrities in tow got into the ring to celebrate with Bill Goldberg. Wow, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Bill Goldberg? What did you do, Chuck? What did you do? Okay, that's gonna do it for this one. Join me next time where we're probably not gonna be talking about Chuck Norris again, but who knows? Let's just see where the ideal well takes us. Anyway, bye.